This is Jonathan Ferguson, the Keeper of Firearms and Artillery at the Royal Armouries Museum in the UK, which houses a collection of thousands of iconic weapons from throughout history. And I'm your host, Dave Jewett, and today we're combating unspeakable horrors and avoiding the odd tentacle as we break down some of the weapons of John Carpenter's toxic Commando.
What have you done? What have you done? We have a gold-plated receiver set, a knuckle duster charm, various different skins for the components, and some sort of pink sleeve.
What did you call me?
On the buffer tube. Looks pretty accurate, except it doesn't have the iconic Ugg boot. That's what remains of my credibility has just drained away.
Just hopped away. There is a longer, more in-depth version of this episode over on our Patreon, which also includes a few bonus weapons. There's a link in the description for you to find that, but without further ado, I'll throw it over to Jonathan.
That's a slightly confusing MP5 because proportions-wise, it looks good. I don't mind about the modernized handguard. That's fine; those exist. Although I'm not sure I've seen one with those dimples in it before. The buttstock is slightly cursed. Kind of looks a bit like a sort of pistol brace, but is actually a buttstock. Has a folding mechanism on it. There is a folding buttstock for the MP5, but it looks nothing like that. It's a good MP5, but they've changed enough to make brain twitch.
Uncanny Valley MP5.
Yeah, no, that's exactly the feeling. It's got the threaded trilug muzzle of the MP5-10. Slap. Judo chop style. Slap, that's good. I think I just am a purist when it comes to the MP5, like as intended.
In the menu, the weapons have fun descriptions, and the MP5 is described as a true movie legend. Don't get starstruck.
And there is an absolutely horrifying... Now, we've got a proper buttstock on it. We've got a modernised HK A3 buttstock. You see, my first impression was curse, but actually the buttstock's less incorrect. And that's just a funky, squarish suppressor on the front, isn't it?
In-game, it's just a muzzle brake, so it's not offering any sound suppression.
Okay. I went straight to suppressor because we have quite a few chunky square suppressors now. But looking at it again, I guess it doesn't make sense as a suppressor, but it makes more sense than it does as a brake. Oh, I see. Yeah, it's got ports in the side, hasn't it? But they're not angled. They're just putting blast straight out to the side, which isn't going to do much. So unless there's an internal angle and they're just the ports for the ports, if you see what I mean, it's not really going to pull the weapon forward against recoil. Suffice to say, I think that's made up.
Aside from any, creative decisions they've made with the 3D model, the quality of the modeling and texturing across all of these guns is really good. Some of the ones we'll look at later, really impressed me. And I hope they don't mind me saying this, I was sort of surprised to see how good they were in this game.
Well, I think that's a fair comment. I mean, it needn't be. I always think for whether it's sci-fi, fantasy, or just sort of comic booky, or in this case B-movie, I guess, I would forgive more than I would other types of game. But, perhaps that's just me being inconsistent. Okay. This looks suspiciously like our old friend, the Mateba Unica 6. So what we need to watch for here is the top bit sliding back and forth. Yeah, so the Mateba, for those who don't know, as well as firing from the bottom chamber of the cylinder, which is relatively unusual, is an automatic revolver, a bit like the Webley Fosbury, and the recoil energy of firing drives the upper part of the frame to the rear and recocks the hammer and rotates the cylinder, so you get that light trigger pull every time. You can fire the first shot on double action, but I don't think it's moving, is it? Can you detect any?
I've not been able to detect it moving.
It is recocking the hammer, but it's sort of doing it magically. I suppose, does it matter if you were really shooting this against freakish abominations? Would you notice the top part of the gun moving? Probably not. It's happening very fast. So would it even be detectable to the naked eye? Oh, hello.
This is a customization option that gives it an integral suppressor, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, not impossible by any means, but people avoid suppressing revolvers usually because it's the cylinder gap thing. Mind you, the Mateba has a pretty tiny gap.
Despite them calling it a suppressor, I can detect no difference in sound, though. I don't think they've actually suppressed the sound effect. I mean, like, sound suppression doesn't actually really play a role in gameplay. There's just hordes of horrible undead and tentacles. But I was like, this sounds the same.
Yeah, that's got to be a mistake, I think. And you'd think it's an easy one to fix as well. Different reloads going on, I notice. We've got single reload in the aim, which is relatively unusual, and then we have a speed loader, full reload.
Yeah, every weapon has a different reload animation based on whether or not you're aiming down sights and whether or not the weapon is empty. So you keep the weapon in the aim while you're reloading, which is helpful for when you're like focusing on the special enemies, especially.
Keeping a revolver in the aim while you reload is pretty challenging. A rifle, yeah, I don't know, Ready or Not has an option at least. You can reload keeping the weapon in the aim. Not that many games do that, but I would not recommend it with a revolver. Doable, I guess, but kind of artificially difficult as opposed to just dropping it down, doing your thing and bringing it back up. Jerry Mitchell-esque style.
We dive even deeper into the sludge-covered weapons of Toxic Commando over on our Patreon-exclusive Extended Edition. Becoming a patron comes with perks such as 1 week early access to videos, Discord access, and we have over 70 Patreon-exclusive Director's Cut episodes and a bunch more bonus content. Becoming a patron gets you early access to all of our upcoming episodes, as well as podcasts, Discord access, and much more. Either way, whether you join the Patreon or watch along here on YouTube, I want to say thank you for being here, and now I'll get back to the video.
Pack 15, yeah, which looks a bit like a sort of civilian M4 variant upper on an M16A2 or A4 lower, and they've come up with their own little unicorn logo for the fake company. Yeah, so I mean, I could go, a very modular system. We could go and build what we see on the screen here, but no need, I think. I'll show you this instead. So this is a traditional M16A4 configuration, AR-15. Full auto AR-15, as I won't cease to harp on about. And it doesn't have a unicorn on it, but it does have some interesting markings. Manroy. This is a UK-made M16A4, or equivalent thereof. It's not a true one. They called it the ME16X4, which is interesting. Manroy, a company which is now FN UK, who we know quite well these days. Set up originally by a husband and wife partnership, Mandy and Roy, hence Manroy. In fact, looking at that makes me think, actually what we've got there is it's almost like a M653 style short handguard and gas system, carbine gas system on a 20-inch barrel. That's what it looks like, or close to. So it is quite an unusual looking beast, and the 20-round mag always makes ARs look a bit different. Obvious thing to say, but it's true. It's
funny you mention the modularity, because the description literally says its modular design offers an absurd variety of customization options, including pepper spray and a rear view mirror. Just remember, zombies in mirror are closer than they appear.
Again, lots of detail on this. Yeah, we've even got the holes, the correct holes on the bolt carrier group, which are often either not there or kind of dimples because the artist hasn't understood what they actually do. But here they are, actual holes in the model, or textured to look like they are. That's looking a bit Metal Gear Solid, that tiny little
this customized one.
Stockless, yeah, but without the big drum and the infinity symbol.
I tried to make a cursed one, but in doing so, I actually noticed a really cool detail. The muzzle gases and muzzle flash is actually different between the default birdcage and this aftermarket one. And I was like, that's a nice little detail they've added there.
That's a remarkable detail, actually. How many times have you ever seen that before?
It's rare, especially like outside of something like a milsim. It's very rare to see that level of detail.
And even some of those, depending on how old they are / what sort of engine they're built on, don't necessarily change muzzle blast in real time.
And the character's holding the weapon in the aim to reload. I'm just thinking that buffer tube's just going into the shoulder.
Yeah, well, it's probably more going into your chin, I would think. Yeah, I mean, I don't recommend a stockless AR-15. Yeah, we should say that the buffer tube being there is entirely accurate. You can, like the Olympic Arms did, relocate recoil systems into the receiver, but it's not straightforward. What have you done? What have you done? You've faked me out by saying you tried to make a cursed weapon and they ended up with that. And now we have a gold-plated receiver set, a knuckle duster charm, various different skins for the components, and some sort of pink sleeve.
What did you call me?
On the buffer tube.
That's not that serious.
It's at least I should be calling you for this.
Well, I wanted to.
What is that thing on the?
I think it's just the cover of the buffer tube that's been painted, but.
Oh yeah, because the base model did have one of those sort of foam covers on the tube.
But I thought, let's see what weird skins they have, and then it allowed me to change the skin of every single component. I was like, right, we're gonna have a little bit of fun here.
I mean, points for being able to change individual skins on individual components, I suppose. I don't think I appreciate the overall effect.
So I think this is a fictional gun, but maybe based on the Lynx, the GM6 Lynx, or maybe with a bit of Ash 12 in there. But it's a grenade rifle, so it shoots miniature grenades. And it was giving me a bit of Ash 12, giving me a bit of Lynx, squashed Lynx. Me when I sit on my gym bag.
Absolutely. No, it's almost bang on for the GM6 Gepard, or the Gepard GM6 Lynx. Almost bang on. Magazine is a bit too shallow. Comparing this in real time, I normally don't do this, but yeah, I suppose, the back end is a little bit... They've gone to town a bit. This is more what I expected, to be honest, from this game, is guns that make you think they're like real guns, and then they're actually not. But so far, they have been. And this is the only one that's like, we've seen a Lynx once. We're going to make something that's its own thing, I guess. But even the big square trigger guard sticking out as far as it does, shape of the grip, the kind of bridged rail that is attached to the barrel shroud. Be interesting to see if the barrel reciprocates.
Not that I could detect.
Yeah, you kind of need it to. So it's kind of shrunk down, but it's a grenade launcher, and the Lynx is not. The Lynx is a 50 BMG anti-materiel rifle. So they've made it smaller because they've made it shoot grenade rounds, which are short. So it's an unusual choice to base it on a real gun and then totally change that class of weapon to something else, i.e. make it a grenade launcher. I suppose that's why it reminded me of I'm thinking of things like the Neopup shoulder-fired 20mm, or you've also taken the GM6 as the template and then changed the design to fit a different type of ammunition.
This was also present in World War Z. Maybe they wanted an option that was an explosive payload system, because weapons like that, when they meet the swarm engine and you're lobbing grenades into densely packed clusters of zombies, it's so satisfying. So bringing some of that energy into Toxic Commando.
I'm slowly coming to the realization that they've sort of, and I guess they've partly done it because it was in a previous game of theirs that predates awareness of the Precision Grenadier System program, where it is smaller grenades, semi-auto, more like a rifle, more like a bolter, really, as we've discussed. If they were starting from scratch with a model, maybe they'd have copied one of those designs. Instead, they've co-opted a bullpup anti-materiel rifle, but it does look fun.
It's tons of fun when all these zombies cluster together and you're just lobbing these rounds in. It's a great laugh.
Also, I think preferable for me compared to just making it the 50 cal links and having the 50 cal rounds do ridiculous damage. You know, I'd far rather it be a sort of mashup like this that's shooting grenades. Ah, now that looks like the Origin 12 or thereabouts. That sort of skeletonized bolt design is very Origin.
And yet the name and weapon description feels like it's referencing the Taiga.
Well, the Origin is derived ultimately from the Taiga, but this to me says more Origin. What was the name, sorry?
It's called the Taiga 12. This combat shotgun, originally designed for hunting, boasts the same uncompromised reliability as its legendary cousin from Izhevsk. Apologies for my pronunciation there. So I guess legendary cousin would be the Taiga from that Russian city.
Yeah, cousin is fair enough, but that big open drum mag on there is Terminator Dark Fate Origin 12. / Modern Warfare 2019, I think, had the Origin 12. It isn't quite the same, but it is quite similar. The Taiga has a much more conventional AK receiver. You do get sort of add-on magwells that change the look to be a bit more like this, but see there's a slot in the side there that's present on this. What it doesn't have is the vertical ribbing on the top cover, so it's lacking that. But if I pop this open, yeah, so huge dust cover, big open receiver, and the big negative space goings on the bolt. The Taiga shotgun has a pretty standard AK looking bolt carrier group.
Always glad when a video game features a shotgun that has a little bit of range to it, and it doesn't just cease to exist. Its buckshot doesn't cease to exist after like 10 feet. It's definitely not optimal, but I'm glad that you can still reach out a little bit with this thing. I can't remember what video we did recently where you mentioned seam lines and mold lines.
Oh, yeah.
And now I just see them everywhere. Like
I'm so sorry.
I mean, it's another cool detail. You see the back on the on the weapon there, just below the sights. Very prominent mold line. It's like cool little detail. Again, the texturing, the modeling on these weapons is so, again, surprisingly good. Like really, really great job.
Yeah, and by the way, if you haven't already seen it, that is present on the real Origin. So that's intriguing. Like, did they have an Origin 12 in hand and change this to resemble it, or did they do this from scratch, inspired by this gun, and they just came to the same conclusion as the designers that you would create that line on the back of the receiver? Philosophical question of the day. Except they could tell us, no doubt.
The HAMR-17, popular among special forces. The hammer is effective and versatile. No, hammer does not mean hilariously accurate, monstrous recoil.
They've had some fun with the descriptions, haven't they? Yeah, now, funnily enough, HAMR is a real gun name, but not for this. Or was it? I'm dredging something from the depths of my memory here.
The FN system, which was based on the SCAR.
Well, it's pretty close to the SCAR, isn't it, looking at it again? Heat Adaptive Modular Rifle. I just remembered the acronym.
They shoehorn the acronyms.
Oh, they love to, yeah. That was in 5.56, and did change the design more than... Yeah, so they've been inspired to take the name, perhaps because that's sort of public domain from a military trial, and they've applied it to a fairly normal SCAR-H, which looks pretty accurate, except it doesn't have the iconic Ugg boot. That's what remains of my credibility has just drained away.
Just hopped away. There you go, I've added the Ugg boot.
Yeah, still not quite the right shape for the Ugg boot, interestingly. This feels like they've tried to make legal changes, because there are contours on the more I look, the more I see. There are contours and features on the lower that aren't on the real thing. The sort of stuff you wouldn't necessarily notice unless you own one or, actually check. weirdly, now that it's in first person, it sort of looks like a SCAR-L to me. The magazine and the proportions of the lower look more like a light. Or something in the middle, I suppose.
SCAR-M.
I think it's just the angle and the fact that you've got extended magazines on this thing.
Every time I use a SCAR in any game, I have to get rid of those iron sights. There's something about them that I just don't sit well with me. Which is ironic. They should work better, at least in video game form, than AR-15 sights, because they have more visibility to the sides of them. There's more, awareness of your surroundings. But maybe it's a pet peeve.
I think they clearly designed the weapon to be used with optics, with the big, long, flat top. And the iron sights are only emergency backups. And they just feel vulnerable and weak. Like, just sticking up on top like some sort of appendage. They are actually quite robust. I suppose I've never been a huge fan of the way the front iron sight looks all skinny at the bottom, but thick on top.
That's how people describe me.
Just purely from an aesthetic point of view.
Built like a SCAR front sight.
Right, now, this is, I was going to say a rarity, but it's not really, is it? You do get the FAL. I suppose the G3 is a bit more common, perhaps, across the pantheon of video games, but it wouldn't be the first one that we've seen. Now, this looks like it might be a bit of a hybrid. Let me go and see if I can find something exactly like this in our extensive rack of FALs. So, I've ended up sticking with the British SLR L1A1 because that muzzle device, I mean, it's on upside down by the look of it, and it lacks a bayonet lug, but it does appear to be the Commonwealth flash hider. I guess the lower receiver is kind of its own slightly different design. The selector is more generic FAL. The cocking handle is certainly classic Belgian style with just the big round knob, not the folding version on the Canadian, British and Australian rifles. But we can see from this close-up, for example, that where, again, I have the wrong FAL because the UK went for a much better giant magazine catch, which is what my thumb is touching there. And here we see the original, very skinny one that's a bit harder to reach. They didn't want it getting bumped by accident. Makes sense. But the L1A1 version works really well. And then the little catch next to that is the hold open catch, so you can press that and release the bolt. Unless you have the L1A1, because we disabled the hold open. Well, you can manually hold it open for inspection, but it will not lock open on an empty magazine because they didn't want dirt and crud getting in, because actually this wasn't super reliable to begin with. We don't like to talk about it. Now, yeah, you definitely don't want to be AK mag knocking the mag out. You could probably do it on the L1A1 because it has this great big mag paddle. The dinky little one on the FAL, standard FAL, I wouldn't try it. Okay, so the receiver was marked full auto, and indeed in the game it is full auto, and it is visibly a handful, which is good.
Oh yeah, that was recoiling big time. But it was also one of the most effective, shot for shot.
Now that's counter to the trope, isn't it? Because normally you would make this thing semi-auto only. You don't get to shoot it auto, but I think it's good. I like it when they do. Now, this modified form is clearly based on the DS Arms American Neo FAL, which as far as I know are all made on Austrian STG-58 receivers. So technically none of them are new, but everything else is new on them as far as I'm aware. And they're reconditioned and refinished and everything. So, well, if they are all original receivers, yeah, but I mean, it's such a robust machined part, it's not really a problem. And for all I know, they have moved on and started machining their own lowers receivers. I guess with their design, with the bolt-on upper receiver that replaces the top cover effectively to give you a nice solid mounting platform, you can more clearly regard it as an upper and lower receiver situation. Can you switch to semi-automatic, or is it just tapping?
You can switch to semi-auto. I did a little in semi-auto, but with the amount you have to shoot in this game, my finger was getting tired. So I just switched to full auto, and then at range I was tap firing.
Another nice little detail is when that magazine rocks in, you see the little magazine catch move, gets displaced out of the way so that until it can lock back in. presumably HK MG5, looking at the design. Handguard's very reminiscent. We have an MG4. Well, do we have MG4? We have the prototypes of the MG4. We don't have the MG5 is the 7.62, or should be the 7.62 version.
The game uses it in a number of ways. It's a pickup weapon in missions. It's a turret weapon on top of your Humvee. And it's also put into a remote turret. So they've gotten a lot of use.
It's weird. It almost looks like a mashup of the MG5 and the lightweight Barrett MT40. That weird, massively negative space buttstock. Because the HK has a very conventional looking buttstock.
What's that piece that he's knocking away? Is it just loose links? Oh yeah, if I slow it down, you can see there's an extra loose link that gets swatted away. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, that's not something that will happen every time necessarily, but on most top-fed, belt-fed machine guns, there's the possibility of a link being left, which is why part of the drill is usually to sweep the feed tray and make sure that any links have been knocked free, so that it's not in the way when you put the fresh belt in.
Oh, very impressive they've added that then, because I've never seen that detail in any game.
I might have seen the sweep motion as part of a reload drill, part of a reload animation. Maybe, but I haven't seen an actual link. I mean, it's not necessarily realistic that there'd be one left behind every time. That would be a bit of a quirk. But I put about 100 rounds through an MG4 about a decade ago, but I don't remember it retaining links necessarily.
I'm guessing they've included it to lengthen the reload animation in a way that's authentic.
And also, it'd be a hell of a thing to include like a random number generator that occasionally triggers an animation where there's a link left behind. That's milsim level detail, and not one that I've ever. Yeah, that's the only time I ever recall seeing a link in the feedway on a virtual gun. I'm not sure why he's lifting the top cover, like he's cocking it, then lifting the top cover to sort of visually check something. Like press checking a belt-fed machine gun is not something I've ever seen. The lift up of the feed tray, which is part of a lot of machine gun drills as well, so you can see the chamber and make sure it's empty. So I'm not sure it's strictly correct for the drill, or what it would be. But again, a nice detail. Now, what I'm not seeing is an open bolt. Right, so we cock, we open the feed tray. Oh, that's weird. So this we've seen before as well. So the links, there's a whole train of links on the gun that's somehow magically empty of rounds, even though they should be coming from the left. We've seen that before. And they are disintegrating type links, so if there's no round between them, they shouldn't be held together anyway. So we've got the nice detail of the sweep and the peak, but it's more problematic in other ways. And again, I don't see the bolt. The bolt is forward. So they're looking for the chamber, but you can't see the chamber because the bolt is forward, despite the fact that they've cocked it. They've been watching videos of people shooting belt-fed machine guns and haven't quite understood what they're seeing, I would say.
Yeah, the belt continues even though there's no rounds left in it.
It's like, so there's an artificial construct of links somehow magically attached to the end of the belt, and it gets left there. That bolt is forward, so that there's a fair bit to fix on this. Fixable. Shame. Some nice detail, but not quite nailed it.
Should be coming up on the perimeter security station.
Right, a big old Barrett next.
Yeah, I thought we'd look at the base Barrett because we also have a lesser known alternative coming up as well.
Optimus Firearms. Looks like the, I guess, M107 CQ with the short barrel. I always love the idea of a close quarter combat 50 caliber rifle for when you really have to go toe to toe with those armored vehicles. Goon Grinder.
So this was the more interesting Barrett variant.
That is interesting, because that kind of looks like it's leaning toward the grenade launcher.
It was the XM109?
Oh yes, the original Barrett grenade launcher that was based on the rifle, because the current Barrett grenade launcher system is really nothing like the rifle.
And this is exactly that, slinging big old grenades from range.
Just a giant Barrett with a massive break on it. But it's, yeah, I sort of get it. So they've gone for bigger weapon, bigger round, slower firing, which is probably fair. The other weapon is more like, as I say, more like the current crop of PGS weapons. that are more rifle format, and I mean they're heavier than rifles, but
And you can only find this during missions in outposts and stuff as well, so it's very much like a heavy weapon to be able to bring out when things get a bit dire.
this is really more of a sort of anti-materiel grenade launcher, if you like. It's not practical for squad level infantry use really, whereas the current PGS is supposed to be exactly that, like a replacement for an underslung 40mm or standalone 40mm for that matter. Now what the hell is this?
It's a railgun, of course. Double trigger, double knuckle bow, bullpup railgun.
Okay, why does it have two grips and triggers? What, one's got the safety on it, one hasn't, but is marked for it anyway?
They've seemingly both got the safeties on it. I think they've just copy and pasted one over.
Oh yeah, because one's got it on one side, one's got it on the other. If you look at the left side, only the rear one had the safety. It had the markings, it didn't have the lever. But if you look at the other side, it's on the other side on the front grip. So there are two safeties, two grips, two triggers. Is that meant to be like a nuclear key scenario, so that you don't have a negligent discharge with something that can shoot through a house or whatever?
I like that idea. I think they just wanted to make this look as sci-fi as possible.
Is there any in-game information on how it works?
The item description literally says, defies the laws of physics just to give your enemies a really bad day. So they're not thinking about the science.
Like a lot of sci-fi railguns, it appears to be more of a particle beam weapon to me. I don't really get the sense that it's launching a projectile. Although, I guess I do from the magazine. It has a magazine. There must be things in the magazine. It is somehow accelerating them. But what there aren't are rails. A railgun without rails. Maybe it has coils, but it really does look more like it's charging up an energy beam and then releasing it to me. Which is fine, but I would prefer to see sci-fi weapons that are grounded in, like, what are we currently working on that could become a portable weapon in the future? That's what really gets me interested with sci-fi stuff now.
Walter Iron, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you all for watching. Let us know what other games, movies, TV shows, or beyond you would like to see on the show. And of course, like the video and subscribe. As always, I want to give an absolutely massive shout out to all of our wonderful supporters over on the Patreon, without whom we couldn't make cool content like this. Links to support Jonathan and the Royal Armouries will also be in the description below, so make sure you check those out and show them some love as well. But until next episode, thank you again for watching, and I will see you very soon.
Oh, I never want to smell anything again.